Hey everybody, it's Deb Keither for Deliberate Indifference coming at you today with something that wound up in my inbox today on this very cold day. By the way, it's so cold that many businesses and schools were closed, including the state's largest school district, Milwaukee Public Schools, was closed because of the frigid cold. And so today I was home and this arrived in my inbox, and I thought some of you might be interested in it. So, we're going to just do a quick little overview of what the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development sent out recently in their annual report for 2024. And I will link this in case you have the desire to dig in deeper to this report and review the statistics that have been compiled for us, those of us who are experiencing the day to day of the workforce development in Wisconsin. And I have to say, when I first opened this, I looked at the graphics and the logo and the pictures, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I remember these productions when I was at MPS, and it was madness for the months before this kind of stuff released, and the amount of manpower and resources and time consumption that putting these kinds of documents together for the public, kind of the bragging documents about all the fabulous work you've done. It's wild to think about how everything is kind of upturned for many, many weeks and months leading up to the publication of these. So I'm not saying that DWD did that, but it kind of made me think back to when we had to do these for MPS. So, because I mean, I noticed right away, look at the logo and all the color and the picture. Um, Lots of time spent. But, anyways, so this is the document with the report, and it's kind of lengthy. And another thing I noticed as I was paging through it is like there's a lot of pictures of the same person over and over again. That person doing this, that person doing that, that person with a bunch of people that benefited from a program. Like, when did public officials feel like we wanted to see a scrapbook of them all the time? Like, I feel like, in MPS, it's that way all the time. It's like, what are you ever doing? Because you're always in these videos and pictures. I mean, the time to be in these is just crazy. So, anyways, I kind of got off on a little tangent there, but I did keep seeing the same picture over and over again. But, anyways, the booklet starts out with a lovely little letter which kind of highlights some of the wonderful things that happen in the Wisconsin DWD. In case you lived in Wisconsin and you work in Wisconsin and you weren't aware of all these wonderful things that are happening in employment. And it's to the Honorable Tony Evers. So that is amazing. And I noticed throughout this whole document here, they got a lot of record breaking highs. People being, the employment rate was a record high, over 3 million. Record highs of apprenticeships or apprentices. The uninsured employers fund. Lots of great things going on. So I'm not going to break these down because I'm kind of just more in this one doing a pass through. It's really great because they go over their mission, their vision, and what DWD is all about. Look at this one too. All workers are treated fairly with dignity and respect. I wonder if they would do something where they gathered information from workers to see if that goal is being matched, or if it's just all about numbers, all about numbers. Um, Employers, government, educational institutions, and workers collaborate to ensure workforce programs meet current and future needs. Every job provides the wages and benefits necessary to support workers' basic needs, invest in their future, and actively engage with their families and communities. Okay, well, um, let's see if the workers, if we see that as we look through this. Do we see those goals and that vision? All right, so here I see, okay, as I mentioned before, there's some pictures. The governor's in a lot of these pictures. Here's Amy Piachek or Pechad. I can never say her name right. Amy P. I'm going to call her Amy P. So there's Amy P. next to Tony Evers, our governor. Oh, there she is again. Um, Great. In the future, when we need to look at this, it'll be nice to know who was in charge of all of this and who was getting paid for doing all of this in case you forget what she looks like. But I noticed too that these numbers that are on this quick little fact sheet here are the same numbers that are on that first page. So they kind of took that information now and made it into this nice little quick at a glance sheet specific to the secretary, and make sure to kind of break down and show us all the things that she's doing. So look at that. Under her, she has 6 different divisions. So that's quite a big thing, quite a big task. Once again, we see that these two are kind of those same numbers that we saw on the last sheet. So now we see that they are making it another visual, but it's kind of the same information. So they're really kind of pushing these out. If you go back and compare, these are the same bullets from that first page. So let's keep rolling here. Oh, this is a great initiative. The expanding of critical early childhood workforce. I know what they mean here, but I had to read that twice because I was like, early childhood workforce. Yikes, we're getting them, they're real young. But of course, it is about taking care of early childhood children. And by the way, I am board certified in early childhood, and I would like to be employed somewhere. So that would be great. Now, and I live in Wisconsin, so this is not affecting me. So here we go. Now we're gonna advancing workers, employers, and job seekers. We've got more pictures in the scrapbook here, and I think do we have Amy in these around here or the governor? We can see that they're doing all kinds of different visits, places. Oh yeah, here she is. She joined employees. So this is kind of like, what did Amy do this year around the state and internationally? Because I noticed in some of these, let's see, what is Amy doing here? Okay, that's Governor Evers. These are those respiratory therapists in that program they had. Oh, here's Amy with, oh, this is the Germany connection. So this year, leaders from the DWD, Milwaukee Area Technical College, and UWM traveled to German cities. And that's amazing. Look at, there they are. They're all smiles. Wow, that's going to make a big impact. And here we see again now disability employment, and we see Amy with various children and graduates, it says. So once again, this is Amy with graduates from Children's Wisconsin and Milwaukee. And so we can see that Amy got to see that. Ooh, they did name one person here. That's nice for that individual, and his name is Tad Larson, on the job at Marshfield Clinic. Very cool. So again, more about disability employment. And when I think about this, I think about the many cases that I see in our videos from the ERD, and many of them are about disability discrimination. And so that's kind of interesting to juxtapose against this amazing compilation that they put together here. Oh, and here's Amy at the hospital, or Amy Amy, um, they're at the Madison College here, but looks like somebody's, putting on a display for her, and that's really great. This is going to be a nice piece for her scrapbook or like her CV and resume. Here we have more. Is Amy in this one too? I don't know. I can't quite tell. But catch a ride in Wapaka County. I should know how to say that because I live in Wisconsin. It looks like Workforce has a lot of grants. That's great news. I remember too in Milwaukee, we had enough people in our grant office that we could have just paid for stuff instead of getting grants. But that's, I get it. I get it. We need to have that. I love how they're featuring finally here some actual employees instead of all of the administration going around to different places, they are focusing on some employees and their company name. That's amazing. Wish to see more of that. And oh, and there's the whole gang again. We got Amy here and Amy there. What's she doing? She's at the task force headquarters in Oshkosh. Then she's over here doing some AI technology. Wow, she has a lot going on. And then here we've got the governor's task force on the healthcare workforce. That's going to be a big one. Oh, there's Amy right in the middle. I think that's her there too. Yeah. Talking for yeah, Amy. There she is making. Wow. If we were to search this document, I wonder how many times her name would pop up. It seems like it's the Amy document. All right, let's see. Leading, collaborating, and innovating. Wisconsin Fast Forward program provides innovative talent development solutions driven by employers to train and retain highly skilled workers. Oh, and this has to do with school districts. So this is fascinating, and there were some award recipients. And as I look at this, just because of the school districts, I notice, of course, Milwaukee isn't in here, and I guess I don't know what this is all about, but I might have to do a deeper dive into that. And here's Governor Evers again. Congratulating somebody on 50 years of state service. That's great. Okay. Wonder if Amy went there too. And DWD supports Take Your Child to Work Day. That's good stuff too, I guess, and important. And so then as we roll up here, oh, there's Amy again. She's at the job center. Lot going on here. And there's some key metrics they have highlighted. Now we get into equal rights. Oh, now, of course, this one really is of interest to me as of late because I've really watched the functions of that division, and I've used a lot of their own tools and the federal government's own tools to kind of analyze, is the Equal Rights Division focusing in on their goals? And so let's just take a minute to look at this. The Equal Rights Division remains one of the nation's most productive fair employment practice agencies. It's employment practices agencies. It investigates, mediates, and adjudicates complaints, including those related to Family and Medical Leave Act, wage and hour rights, employment of minors, business closures, and laws that prohibit discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodations. Now, what they don't tell you is that the percentage of people who actually get to adjudicate or have probable cause to even go further is very low. And then I even want to quote one judge's, which is from public records, statement that it is so incredibly rare for an employee to win a discrimination case that as she retired, this was ALJ Beverly Crossan, she was so grateful that she finally had a case where an employee won because those discrimination cases are impossible to win. So, although they make it sound like, there's something going on there, it's if you looked at those statistics, and many of you who are watching the ERD videos, you know, I don't know if this is on point. So in the equal rights, they talk about awareness of young workers' rights. Okay. Worker misclassification, recovered lost wages this year. So in the whole year across the whole state, they didn't even make it to $1 million. Okay, this is better than zero, but for the number of people that probably have suffered damages, yikes. I don't know. That doesn't impress me. And substance abuse prevention portal launched. And so that's interesting because I don't really, I mean, I bet I can understand why that would be connected, but I don't know if that sounds like it fits under their main focus. So here's some of their general stats there. 55% of all complaints filed online. So really, I want to know. I would like them to do metrics on how many people get probable cause. How many of those probable cause cases go on to get an award? And compared to their award, most of the people find that it's not even worth going through here because the ability to recoup any of your damages is you pay more money going through this horrible, lengthy, expensive process, and it doesn't yield you anything. Oh, okay. So now we're going past that, and we're going to unemployment insurance, and we can see that Amy, yeah, she's back. She's back in this picture. She's at the Gateway Technical College in this one, and they talk about that. Vocational rehabilitation and some major metrics there. Workers' compensation. That might be interesting. Oh, and there's Amy again. She presented a certificate of appreciation to Jill Goswiak, who retired after 29 years of volunteer service. So great. That's awesome. And then we've got some notes here. There's Amy again as I think she's getting ready to say goodbye to us. Oh, and there's our mayor. That's Mayor Cavalier Johnson, or Chevy Johnson, in Milwaukee, that is. So, wow. It's kind of interesting to see this lovely scrapbook. So, if you want to talk about any of these metrics, I will post the document. We can go into it more. I'm sure other people have a lot different perspective on this and would want to parse out some of the different data pieces a little bit more. But I just wanted to breeze over this because it just, I kind of was shocked by the number of times I saw her picture in here, and just it's all about Amy. Maybe that's what it should be called. All right, we'll talk to you later. Stay warm.